Nikola Tesla once said the following. He said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Yeah.
What do you think he meant by this?
Oh, man, that's powerful. Powerful statement. It's one of the brightest minds in the universe. What he's saying is that when you think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, you're now tapping into the essence of the nature of reality. That this reality that we're living in is an illusion. We have the illusion of solidity. Everything is really a frequency. Everything is made of light, and light is also a frequency, right? So this microphone in front of me looks like a solid object. As a matter of fact, it looks like I'm actually touching it, but I never actually touched this mic. What happens is this mic is made up of a wave of potentials. They're in superposition of each other, okay? And when I look down at this mic, my consciousness collapses those waves into the illusion of solidity. It's light waves slowed down. My brain has a capability, and your brain has a capability of creating a collapsing frequency wave that collapses this into what appears to be a solid object. When I touch it, I don't even touch it. You never touch anything. The electromagnetic frequency of the electrons orbiting the atoms in your fingers are repelling the electrons orbiting the atoms in the microphone, okay? So you don't even touch anything. That's electromagnetic repulsion. This whole world, this whole realm, just like the ancients say, is a dream world, sleepy time. This is an illusion. And what Nikola Tesla is saying, when we begin to understand the nature of reality is frequency and vibration, and through different frequencies and vibrations, you can create a realm known as our universe.
Who do you think he was? You think he was an alien? You think he was a regular guy? You think, what did he have access to that, made him come up with so many different inventions that eventually JP Morgan first is funding him? Then he's realizing, wait a minute, this guy's going to put all the oil industry out of business, my biggest customers. Let me stop funding the guy, and then he goes out of business. Who do you think Nikola Tesla was?
I think he was an incredible human being. I don't have any research material to give me anything other than he was a human being, right? And we know he had a mother because he left a note to his mother right when he died about the fact that he felt like, he had been pretty much abused his whole life. But he had a strange ability to do thought experiments. Thought experiments are incredible things, something that I experiment with myself. But he takes these thought experiments and he creates these inventions in his mind. He saved a lot of money on engineering and production because he would create these things in his mind. He would see the process in his mind. He would even turn them on and see if they worked. And if they didn't work, he would know. So he'd only create things that actually worked. But he was doing it all within his consciousness. So he had tapped into a higher level. This man was on another level altogether. He was a high thinker, probably one of the highest functioning savants this world has ever seen.
Who else would you put at his level?
Well, beneath him would be Albert Einstein. I mean, he, again, did thought experiments, Plato. There's just so many great
beneath
minds out
him.
there.
So you have him at the top.
Yeah, I have him at the top.
You have him at the top.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the story with John G. Trump and what happened with him? Have you heard that story?
No.
Okay, let me read this to you. I'm curious to know what you'll say about this. So January 9th, 1941, 2 days after he dies, Fred Trump, which is Donald Trump's father, Fred Trump's brother, John G. Trump, the FBI calls him to determine if any of the belongings in Tesla's estate would be dangerous if found in enemy's hands. After 3 days of investigation, his brother says there's no risk. And then still, they took boxes and boxes of stuff that he had. And, where they kept it to themselves. And some of the stuff we may know about, some of the stuff we don't know about. And this leads to a documentary recently that came out by Stephen Greer. I don't know if you saw that or not. The Last Century or The Lost Century.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, it's great. If you've seen, okay. So the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951 that has roughly 6,000 patents that are in there, kept from us where they have a structure. I may, butcher some of the numbers that they'll pay you 75% of what the patent they think is worth. But if you ever sell it or use it, you'll go to jail, felony, all that stuff. How much access to technology and information do you think the government has? Or maybe something above even the government that none of us even know about that maybe Nikola came up with or somebody else came up with?
Yeah. Well, they have a lot of Nikola Tesla's inventions already done, produced, and tested. We know that he came up with the Scalar weapon, and they already used the Scalar weapon. We actually integrated that into different radar systems. As a matter of fact, the thing that brought down the UFO, the famous UFO from 1947 in New Mexico, right? The Roswell incident, that was a scalar beam that came from the United States military, most likely engineered or reverse engineered from Nikola Tesla's documents. They discovered that scalar weapon, it wasn't really used as a weapon at first. It was a radar system. They discovered that it disoriented these craft and brought them down. In some weird way, it disoriented their ships. I believe that's how we began to figure out how to bring these things down, capture them, and reverse engineer them. I think the government has a lot of technology that they've been holding back from the general population for several reasons. One reason is for national security and global security. I can agree with that 1,000%, because there's a lot of people out here that if they got their hands on some of this technology would try to utilize it to take over the world. I mean, that's just a known fact because it's the nature of mankind. The next thing is also monetary capitalization. How do you take this technology? They want to, of course, weaponize it, make money there. Then they want to break it down for civilian use and then capitalize on it there as well. So you have the combination between the two. Monetizing in military is weaponization, and then monetizing and capitalization in the civilian area. And then the third thing is drawing out technologies as long as you possibly can. Keep lying about peak oil. Keep lying about resources and running out, and we're getting droughts, and there's no more waves for birds. There's no more coal, and make up these lies, and then so we got more coal. Oh, we found more resources. But just drawing it out as long as we can. Now they come with the electric car. Right, the electric car is more detrimental than the combustion engine. So now they're going to move away from the electric car, and they're going to move into hydrogen because that's really much better. But they're going to go to a hydrogen fuel cell, a solid state hydrogen, instead of going straight hydrogen. So this is all about drabbing down technology over time to capitalize over hundreds of years. Some of their plans are 400 and 500 years in advance. Their business models and their business plans go out for 400 or 500 years. The average business person plans 3, 5, 10, but they're planning for hundreds of years in advance.
I understood number one, which number one was, there's a good purpose to it, right? We got to protect because a lot of these technologies in the wrong person's hands, they can destroy the world. Maybe even bigger than a nuclear bomb.
Right.
Who knows what these 6,000 patents that they are. Number two is, the idea of that, when you read it, it says the Invention Secrecy Act requires the government to impose secrecy orders on certain patent applications that contain sensitive information, thereby restricting disclosure of the invention, withholding the patent. And then if you read it even closer, it explains the fact that even if the law is designed to prevent disclosure of new inventions and technologies that in the opinion of selected federal agencies, in the opinion, not accuracy, but just purely opinion, present an alleged threat to the economic stability and national security of the United States. So national security was your point number one.
Yeah.
Economic stability, we cannot drive a car with water 200 miles per gallon. Wait a minute, that's going to destroy the oil industry.
Exactly.
That's a $5 trillion industry. We can't do something like that.
Right.
So $500 billion industry, we can't do something like that. I get that part. $5 trillion industry. Rob, can you see what oil industries? I think it's $5 trillion. If you can check that up, I think it's $5 trillion. But the third one, unpack the third one a little bit more, because I think I understood what you said, but can you unpack it for me, please?
Yeah. What was the third one I said again? There was the...
You said the first one was the risk of the wrong person getting their hands on it. Number two was capitalization. Right. And then number three, you were talking about, that they're drawing it out and delaying it. They're not wanting us to know.
Right. Well, you draw it out.
Almost like gaslighting us a little bit.
Well, the reason why you draw it out is because you can extend your ability to monetize, right? So, for example, the cell phone came out during the Vietnam War. We didn't get that until 1992, I think it was. We called it the bowling pin. But it was available, a long time before then. And so I think they have the ability to draw things out extensively to just give us small amounts of advanced technology so that we as a civilization, the general population, advances much slower than they advance, giving them the ability to always be 10 steps ahead of us technologically. If they create technology that they dole out to us almost instantly or not too far behind, then we can always catch up to them. And if we catch up to them, then we become a threat. We cannot become a threat by any means necessary, so they keep us with technologies that are far, far behind what they have. I mean, they still have Elon Musk launching, chemical rockets.
What's your point?
I don't think chemical rock. I think that's old-fashioned. I think that's really old technology, super ancient technology.
So you think even Elon Musk is old school?
I think he's done a great job with his, launching and landing the same rockets. But I think, you're using you're using controlled explosions in the 21st century. I think there's a lot better technology out there.
You think he's aware of that?
He's probably aware of it, but he's probably doing the best he can.
Got it. So let me.
I don't think they're going to give him the anti-gravity or allow him to use it because of that act you just read.
Yeah, but I just looked at it. It says $5.3 trillion in 23. I see here the market size, but that's the number I see. You see 1.8, somewhere between those two.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.